y'all, welcome back to my channel, At Home with Willowberry. Or if you're new, welcome. But where have you been? I'm so happy to see you here. My name is Valerie, and in today's video, I'm going to bring you some good old-fashioned homemaking motivation. I thought I'd bring you along with me while I clean up this old trailer of ours, and then later I make chicken and rice for dinner. I organize my spices, and I bake a treat for the boys. It was a very productive day here in the Virginia mountains, so if you're interested, I hope you'll stick around and enjoy the video. How are you all doing today? I hope you're all having a wonderful day. It's another rainy day here in the Blue Ridge Mountains, so since we're stuck inside, I decided to go ahead and clean up around the mobile home. And boy, do I have a lot to do. I need to change the bed linens and make the bed, and then I need to fold a ton of laundry. Later, I'm going to clean up in the kitchen and then organize my spices. I bought some new spice jars. I was getting tired of spending so much time searching for spices on my spice rack, so I'm going to try to organize it a bit. I was at Walmart the other day and found a box of Snickerdoodle Pumpkin Blondie Bar Mix, so I thought I'd make those before the boys got home from school. And then for dinner I'm making chicken and rice. So if you'd like to see what I've been up to on this last day in September, then let's get busy. You know what? Sometimes I wonder why I even bother straightening up the pillows or cleaning the window. Max will have the pillows knocked down in no time flat just to put more nose prints on the glass. But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. He's so cute when he burrows under the pillows, and I love seeing his nose prints on the window. The pillows can be re-straightened, and the windows can be cleaned again next week. As long as that little guy is happy, then that's all that matters to me. Tim and I made our weekly trip to the laundromat yesterday, so I wanted to go ahead and get the laundry folded sooner than later. I have a bad habit of letting the laundry sit around before getting around to folding it, but before you know it, you can't even walk around the bedroom for all the bags of laundry sitting around. So I'm making it my mission to fold the laundry as soon as we get back from the laundromat, or at least by the very next day. It was quite late when we got home last night, and I still had dinner to make, so this is really the first chance I've gotten to fold them. But that's all right, we're getting it done now, and once I've finished, then it will be time to head into the kitchen. The bedroom feels nice and fresh and cozy now that I've changed the sheets and made the bed and cleaned the windows. Now it's time to clean up the kitchen a bit. There's not too much to do in here today. I just need to wipe down the counters, sweep, and wash a few dishes. So I'm going to go ahead and get that taken care of now so that I can get busy organizing my spice rack. Alright, well I just need to wash a few dishes and then sweep the floor. Then I'll be ready to start organizing my spice rack. I ordered some spice jars from Amazon that look like little mason jars, and I can't wait to transfer my spices into the little jars. A nice clean kitchen. Too bad it won't stay that way for long. It never does. Well, anyway, we're going to go take a little break and go visit with Willow, Max, and Milo. Well, the house is finally clean. Well, clean-ish. It's never really completely clean, especially since we live in a construction zone. There's always dust everywhere. Tim and our son have been hanging sheetrock in the 4th bedroom, so there's sheetrock dust flying around the house. Thankfully, they finished hanging the sheetrock, which means we're one step closer to finishing that bedroom. Well, alright, y'all. I have these little mason jars that I ordered from Amazon, but before I can fill them up with spices, I need to wash them in some hot soapy water. Well, my new spice jars are nice and clean, but they'll need to be dry before I can store any spices in them. So while they are drying, I decided to go ahead and make a box of Snickerdoodle Pumpkin Blondie bars that I picked up at Walmart. I was in the mood to bake, but I didn't want to make too big of a mess here in the kitchen, especially since I just finished cleaning it. So I'm just going to make this box mix instead of trying to make something from scratch. The boys will be home from school soon, and I want to surprise them with a special fall treat. As soon as I get the Snickerdoodle pumpkin bars in the oven, then I'll be ready to start filling up the new spice jars. I've never used spice jars before. I always just use the bottles that the spices come in, but we've collected quite a bit of spices. Remember when I called Tim the Spice King? Well, I tell you what, it seems like every time we go to the grocery store, he's picking up a new spice. Well, my spice rack is out of control, but I'm hoping after I'm done today that it will be easier to find the spices I need. But first, let's get this fall treat in the oven. The spice jars weren't quite dry yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish drying them by hand. But I tell you what, that's a lot of spice jars, but I still don't think that we're going to have enough. I may have to order a few more, but we'll just have to wait and see. Alright, well let's go ahead and start filling up these spice jars. I could smell the snickerdoodle pumpkin bars baking away in the oven, and boy do they smell delicious. I believe it's about time to go ahead and pull them out of the oven, so let's go ahead and do that now. Well, that took forever, but I'm finally done, and it looks like I had just enough jars. In fact, I have 2 left over. We had duplicates of some of the spices, so I'm just storing those on the bottom 2 shelves of the spice rack, but the top shelf was just big enough to hold all 30 jars. I love these new jars, especially with the labels on the top of the lids. That will make it so much easier to find the spices I need. I made the pumpkin dessert for the boys, but I don't think they'll mind if I try some. I'm thinking I could use a break right about now, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a cup of coffee and eat a piece of this snickerdoodle pumpkin bar while I wait for the boys to get home from school. It's that time, y'all. It's finally time to make dinner. Tonight I'm making a recipe that I got from my sister. It's for chicken and rice. I've made this recipe a couple of times, but tonight I decided to switch it up a bit. You see, my sister bakes her chicken separately from the rice dish, but I wanted to try and make it a one-dish meal tonight. Well, I think I made a mistake. I should have followed my sister's advice and baked the chicken separately, but I'm getting ahead of myself. You see, this is meant to just be a chicken-flavored rice dish, but I thought I could throw the chicken in with the rice and it would still cook perfectly. Well, as we'll soon find out, it didn't quite turn out that way. Dinner was almost a disaster, but we'll see if I can turn it around and salvage it before serving it to the family. This recipe was meant to be just a rice dish, but silly old me decided to try to turn the rice dish into a chicken and rice dish, all made in one pan. Well, if you decide to try and make this dish, then take my sister's advice and bake your chicken separately. You see, this rice dish takes over 45 minutes to bake, which turns out to be just too long for the chicken. My chicken will end up overcooked and the rice undercooked. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. To get started, I first rinse 3 cups of white rice in cold water. I'll then set that aside while I prep the chicken. For the chicken, I like to cut off any gristle, fat, and veins, and then I'll rinse it in cold water as well. For the rice dish, I cut up some yellow onion and then saute that in butter until the onions are softened. Once they are softened, I'll add the onions to the chicken broth and then I'll bring the broth to a boil. While the onions are sauteing in the butter, I'll season the chicken. Tonight, I'm seasoning the chicken with salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and smoked paprika. After pouring the boiling chicken broth over the rice is when I should have just covered the rice with aluminum foil and baked it in the oven alone. But silly me decides to add the chicken to the rice first, but it doesn't exactly turn out the way that I thought it would. While the chicken and rice are baking in the oven, I have plenty of time to wash another load of dishes.
The rice normally cooks in about 45 minutes, but when I pulled it out of the oven after the 45 minutes, I realized the chicken is done, and probably overdone to be honest. But the rice hasn't finished cooking yet, so I'll just have to remove the chicken from the pan and put the rice back in the oven to finish cooking. Well, y'all, after an additional 15 minutes in the oven, the rice is finally finished cooking. So that means dinner is ready, y'all. I tell you what, if I had to do it all over again, I would definitely bake the chicken separately from the rice, that's for sure. And although the chicken was a little tough, it was still edible, and the rice turned out to be very delicious. Well, y'all, that's about it for another video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again real soon. Bye, y'all.